Alright, this is the review of the Chevrolet Cruze, a car that I've been curious to drive. I've seen it often at car shows and wondered how it was on the road. The looks are, I would have to say, inoffensive in the best way possible. I find it looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look worse than the Civic or the Corolla. So I think it looks, I mean, if you don't want to be noticed, if you don't want to be on the radar, I mean, this is the car you buy. And there's a lot of people who are like that. This is a car that is a transportation vehicle, not a style vehicle, very similar to the Corolla and Honda Civic. The rear trunk is ginormous, fold 60/40. I couldn't get over how big it is. It's almost a mid-size trunk. Rear doors are plasticky with those door stubs, which I hate. A little bit of cubby space. Rear seat room is very average in the category. If you're over 5'9", forget it. But there is a plug for your mobile devices. In the front, it gets a bit better. Cubby spaces, good visibility. These windows are pretty big, and that door pull that I can't stand. But there is a little bit of felt there. That's pretty sexy. Inside, it's a familiar layout that we're becoming used to from GM. I like the general driving position. The visibility is really good in this car. And this car drives very easy. I hate that like tissue on the dash and on part of the door. It's not very nice. However, the center stack is probably the best in the category. I think the center stack is really nice and it's very easy to use. GM brags about this car being 4G, although I couldn't get it to work. Maybe it's on a higher end model. However, that being said, there's a lot of things I like about this car. I like the 10 airbags. I like the seating position. I love the engine. The torque is great. The fuel economy is wonderful. And I like the visibility, the center stack. There's a lot of things to like about this car. There's nice cubby holes there for your drinks. So it feels as though GM actually put an effort in this car. 10 years ago, they didn't put effort into cars like this. Let's listen to the drive. Okay, so let's take a look at this spec sheet. This is a 2015 Cruze 1LT standard base equipment. That famous GM warranty of the powertrain, 5 years or 160,000 kilometers. That's wonderful for families. Because you know when you have a family always running around everywhere for your kids and shit. And this warranty allows you to benefit from the full 5 years. Often you do more than 20,000 clicks per year. 9.1 liters in the city, 6.3 on the highway. I'm here with my cousin and he says it is fuel efficient and the engine is very smooth. The question we're going to ask ourselves is the Cruze as good as the Japanese rivals? And if not, why? So this car standard comes with a backup camera with a wonderful infotainment, a 6-speaker sound system which goes pretty loud considering it's a compact, and a turbocharged 1.4 liter engine. Now I have to say this engine is pretty peppy and pretty efficient. The transmission, which is always a GM strong point, shifts gears. It doesn't shift too fast. It doesn't hold gears for too long. It's a wonderful 6-speed. Now apparently GM has been working on sound deadening. I was reading the website and they have a lot of technologies to reduce the sound inside the car, and I have to say it is very quiet in here. A quiet cabin in the compact class really leads to a more sophisticated driving experience. The seating position is fine. Outward visibility is wonderful. Visibility on the sides is very nice. Very easy to drive. The control weights, which is the steering, the brake pedal, the gas, very light to the touch, very, very easy to drive, especially in the city, which is where I am driving now. The infotainment has full of options. It has a nice, well laid out screen. It's tactile. The center console right here looks very good, very easy to use. No complaints. Good job, GM, so far. Things that are maybe not that great. Well, for one, the seat is not incredibly comfortable. I can feel like it's not a Honda Civic seat. The general interior quality is not very high. They have like this texture around on the dash. Nobody has this texture on the dash. It's because it's a dust accumulator. You don't want to vacuum your dash when you're washing it. You just want to wipe a towel on it and that's it, it's finished. The steering wheel is the right size and the driving position is good. The gauges are quite large, except I'm not crazy about this greenish font, this greenish color, and the relatively small size of the numbers. We saw that in the Buick Verano review that I did. They got to make the size of the numbers bigger. The center information hub is very basic. The suspension is really for comfort. It's not boaty, but almost. Feels almost like a boat, but not really. It's on the limit, And the car has, I would have to say, a generally average feel about it. It doesn't feel expensive. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels average. Now, we've been used to GM. I mean, those of us who are old enough remember the shit cars that GM used to make, compact cars. They never focused on that before. They never made good cars like that. And it's kind of why they fell behind. You know, they were focusing on the trucks and all these things, and which were great money makers and things were going well, except you're not going to get that type of customer loyalty like Toyota, Honda have, right? So when a young buyer buys their first small car, they get a Honda Civic. And that car is a very good experience. So then they move up to the Honda Accord. You didn't have that with GM. I mean, unless you were an unconditional GM lover or you were really on a budget and you got a special in the fall for like a late model, you didn't really buy small model GMs. You bought their trucks, you bought things like that. It was basically a truck company. GM is trying to redo this. However, when I go to car shows, I still see the focus on trucks. I still see the focus on things like that. This is a good effort. I don't think it's enough to knock out the two kings, Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla, or the two what I would call stylish entries, the Ford Focus and the Mazda 3. However, that being said, I'm driving around in this car and it is very, very nice. It's very quiet and you're never going to get sick of riding in here. So, does the job good. I would definitely shop for specials. And what you're going to get for the same price as a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla is you're going to get equipment, optional equipment. That's really what you're going to get. My cousin was making the point is that these cars, for the same price in Japanese, you're just going to get a little bit more equipment with these cars. So, up to you.